And hello, everybody. Welcome to Entropy Emporium. Thanks for coming to hang out tonight. We're super excited that you're here. Um, I always forget that captions captures literally everything, so I'm just sitting and talking and rambling on about things, but whatever. Um, Thank you so much for coming to hang out. I have a couple of housekeeping things before we officially get started and I let my players introduce themselves. First of all, my name is Kian. My pronouns are they, he. You can find me on the interwebs at uptight_chiffon or uptight-chiffon, depending on where you're hanging out. And the channel that you are hanging out on right now is Entropy Emporium. Here at Entropy Emporium, we are now and for the foreseeable future raising money for the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. They're doing really, really important work on the ground in Gaza. Keep all eyes on Gaza, keep all eyes on West Bank, in Sudan, in Congo, in Lebanon. Pay attention to what's going on around you. If you are able to donate, we're dropping our Tilify link in the chat. If you can't donate, we ask that you spread the word, keep awareness going, make sure that people know what's going on in the world, and that we keep all eyes on these communities. None of us are free until we are all free. The other thing that I want to drop in is that we do have a Discord server. If you like what we do and you want to come hang out, it's mostly just a lot of us being feral, screaming about things. It's a lot of chaos, but if you want to come and hang out, that's where we're going to be dropping our upcoming casting call that will get announced in a couple of weeks, which I'm really excited about, as well as kind of just talking about all of our different games and things. Finally, this is a horror game, so if at any time the content becomes uncomfortable for you, my players and I have safety tools that we use, but we ask that you take care of yourself as well. Um, there are going to be things referenced toward cults and cult existence and murder and lots of different things. I wish I had a list in front of me, but I am not as prepared as I should be, so I apologize about that. I will try to give trigger warnings throughout the game as things come up. But again, if something is uncomfortable for you, feel free to step away. We have plenty of other games that you can come back and join us for. So I'm going to hand it over now to my players. So, players, if I can ask you, we'll go around in order. If I can ask you to share your name, tell us who you are, and then let us know your character's name and a little bit about them. Um, Before I hand it over, let me explain what it is that we're going to do. So, in public access, there is a mechanic called Your Corner of the House. These are going to be little items, basically your gear or equipment, that all of the other players get to award to each individual player. So, this is not something you get to decide yourself during character creation, and it's something that I think is really fun to do to kick off the whole stream. So, players, after you introduce your character, we will be gifting you. Everyone will go around and gift you one thing for your corner of the house. So now I will hand it over to Nikki for introductions.
All right. Hello there. I am Nikki, he, they, and I will be playing Sally Sung, who is a. Oh, I am hearing doubles.
I'm not hearing doubles. Do you
Oh.
have
Mm-mm.
the audio on for the stream?
This
Oh my god, I have the Twitch on the other thing. Okay, never mind. Sorry about that.
All good.
All right. But yes, hello there. I am Nick, he, they, and I will be playing Sally Sung, who is a sort of like a bookworm in back when she was in school. Keeps to herself, don't really have a lot of friends, usually finds with her nose buried in a book, and has this sort of like wouldn't teachers and certain people will call it unhealthy, where she would just sit in a corner like during lunch break and just look at people and try to figure out like what they're all about, like what they've eaten, what they've done over the course of the day, because she's fairly perceptive and she doesn't really have a filter, so occasionally she will just tell the people what they've done and it just freaks them out as if they think that she's spying on them. So over the time she gets like a bit of a reputation, be it as a peeping tom or whatever, but occasionally people do come to her if they feel like they need to look for something that's gone missing, or like they suspect their boyfriend's cheating on them or something. And so she sort of have the reputation of being like sort of like a little Nancy Drew in her town and in her school. And as for things that take her back when she does not have her nose buried in a book, usually she's reading books like Goosebumps or playing like fighting fantasy, just immerse herself into a different world through pages. She would be found the in her house when her parents are out, which is most of the time, watching Buffy the Vampire Slayers. She probably has a block spot floating around somewhere where she's RPing as Sally Summers, the daughter of Buffy and I guess Spike. Is Spike the good boyfriend or was it Angel? I don't remember which one. It's been many years.
I think she
But
ends
yes,
up with Angel in the
I mean,
end.
I think it's debatable either way.
Yeah, I think they were all pretty toxic in the end. There were a lot of red flags
yeah,
there.
This
yeah,
is the
they
rest of the
were.
stream now.
You know what? We'll make it Angel because I know him more than Spike. Because he gets his own entire spin-off. So, but yes, that is Sally Sung, or Sal, as she's known by among her peers.
So Nancy Drew type likes to read Buffy the Vampire, Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan.
Yep.
I love all of these things. I feel like it would absolutely make sense for Sally to have a pair of binoculars for long distance observation and kind of being able to see what's going out in Degoya County just because it is in the desert and there's not much to see. But I think Sally has probably trained herself to know that you should still look, and those binoculars definitely help.
Mm. Love it.
Do you just want us to yell out if we have a thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just jump in, whoever.
So I'm going to give Sal a notebook, but a special notebook to where I don't know if anybody had one of these, but you can write in it. But if somebody comes quickly, it has like a double leaf in it, so you can shut it and open it, and it just looks normal, like you haven't written in it yet. So it's like a hidden notebook. So yeah.
Oh, wait, that's a pretty neat. Never heard of a notebook like that before. Gotta look it up.
Lily or Will, do you have something that you want to give Sally for her corner of the house?
I think a steak.
Now the question is: a real stick or a fake one, like a rubber one?
I mean, like a real one, like one made out of wood, probably one that like they made themselves.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I was gonna say, did you
steak.
steal it? Did you steal it from the set of Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
That's possible.
The last time I saw it, it was in residence in Seattle.
I was just thinking like this was just like a sharp stick that you carved yourself, but like a prop replica steak is pretty fun too.
All right. We'll say a DIY steak of unknown origins.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I'm gonna give Sal a press pass. Who knows if it's real or not, but it sure has Sal's face on there and says that she is a member of some generic newspaper, like still like actual print media.
Okay, legit in quotations, press pass.
Wonderful. I love these so much. We will hand it down to Alex for intros.
Hi, my name's Alex. I use they, them pronouns. I am known by that one dead pixel all over the internet where I currently reside, which is usually Instagram, Twitter, and Discord. So let's see. My character that I'll be playing tonight is Ash Thompson. They use she, they pronouns. Their style is none more goth / I'm too emo for my face. And there are some things that bring us back for this character, which would be the Headbangers Ball, the quote, Who Killed Laura Palmer, and the Book It program, which gave me several meals as a child. But yeah, Ash is very much a not so much loner by choice, but loner by just the way things have occurred in their life. So they have interesting parents, to say the least. And the first chance that they possibly got, they went to college and moved away from the town to study video game design, and they now are a video game designer and have taken a sojourn back home.
Delightful. Who has an item for Ash?
Hmm. I don't know if this thing exists in the time period that we've established our story in, but as a game designer, I have a couple of those friends, and they always have like this, like just a single keyboard clicky thing that they have that they just fidget with. I don't know what they're called. Is like you just click 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 click. 'Cause I want to
Yeah.
say it's a fidget spinner, but it's not. It doesn't spin, and it's just a single keyboard key button thingy.
Mm-hmm. Mine's going to be the escape key.
Abort! Abort! Abort!
Abort.
Right.
Or delete.
I'm gonna give Alex a taser.
Oh,
Or yeah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for trusting me, Lily.
Not a
Like
loner by
somebody
choice,
has to
loner by
have one.
force. Just tase anyone that gets too close.
Right.
I think JD already went to sleep, but I'm gonna go with a vintage MCR hoodie that has chains on it and thumb holes in the sleeves.
Thank you.
Nice.
wonderful. Um, I am going to give Ash a Walkman, classic Walkman.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Over the ear headphones, of course.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And I will hand it over to Lily.
Hello. Hi, I'm Lily. I'm known by several personas, Elise on Life on Twitter and Blue Sky when I decide to actually use that. And Lescribe in Twitch chat if I do show up there. But I spend most of my time on Instagram as LilyPHL. My pronouns are she, they, and I am playing Seela Hardwood, whose pronouns are also she, they. Seela was back in high school was head cheerleader, part of the prom court, and considered herself pretty popular. Now they consider themselves an heiress, where really they just have like inherited wealth from their parents' um, furniture store. Yeah, that's hardwood furniture. and and I think like Sela's style is like Southern Black church on Easter Sunday, kind of over the top dress and hats, always a hat. And they like claim to fame is that they once showed up as an extra on a Real Housewives uh, TV episode. Yeah, and that is Sela.
Which Real Housewives franchise? I have to know.
I'm gonna go with I don't even know if this one exists, but I'm going to go with Real Housewives of Savannah.
Okay, okay. I don't know if it exists either. I have very limited Housewives knowledge, but what I've seen, I love, and that
Yeah,
is very much
Lily does, but Sela, of course, is very educated.
of Who wants to start with an item for Sela?
A rich heiress. Maybe a very I know nothing about brands, but maybe they have like this very branded handbag that they carry their like makeup or like their phone in or something. Just the
Sure.
the kind of handbag that once you lay eyes on, it instantly marks you as from wealth, like from
Okay.
upper society. Like,
Um, is Sela an animal person?
Yes. Oh, I forgot that Sela does, in fact, always travel with her teacup um, poodle. It's half poodle, half chihuahua. Don't ask me how that happens, but that
hmm.
is it. Um, and named Sir Barkington. She's on Sir Barkington the Third right now.
I would like. I thought I couldn't remember his name, but I thought that you'd had a pet. Um, I would like to give Sela one of those whistles that can call a dog, but can
Oh
only be
yes,
heard by dogs.
nice. I love it.
I'm gonna give Sela. Um, let's see. We all had. I'm trying to think of what's the name of it, but the like limited to fragrance body spray that has like glitter in it and everything. It's the smell is specifically tutti frutti.
Love it. I love it.
And I think I'm going to go with a strangely sharp set of influencer crystals.
What is that? What?
Influencers sell crystals all the time to like
Yeah.
channel your energy, to like get rid of negativity, things like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I know
He's just
exactly what that is now.
these are just kind of pointy.
All right, Will, if you want to introduce your character.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be playing Jason McEwen, but maybe more colloquially known as his stage name, Jace Max, with 2 X's, not 3 because he doesn't do porn. His style is described as fast and or furious chic. And what takes him back, he uses he and pronouns, what takes him back is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Attitude Era WWF. Jace was kind of a victim of his own ADHD, his own rampantly unmedicated ADHD in high school. So he just ended up doing a lot of stupid things, stupid like jackass style stunts and things like that. After graduating high school, he had a brief X Games career as a professional skateboarder. When that didn't work out, he transitioned into wrestling, professional wrestling. Never got big, never made a name for himself. When that didn't work out, he transitioned into doing stunt work on movies. I think probably most recently, mostly out of Atlanta. And now he's back.
I love him. Um, who has an item for Jace?
Hmm.
I keep going back and forth on this one, but I think I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to give Jace a helmet. It's a helmet and it's got a lot of stickers on it, a lot of bands. Um, it might or might not have a little crack in it already, but he thinks it's totally fine.
Uh,
I was
would
going
you
to say
say
he
that?
wears it, but never when he's actually skateboarding.
Would you say that Jace is very accident prone?
I think that is fair to say.
All right.
Yeah, I think that he's learned how to recover from accidents very quickly, but it still happens a lot.
All right. Then I'll say for the item for his corner of the house from me would be a sort of like a piece. I'll let you choose which piece of his very first skateboard, and that sort of like ended up getting pulverized by an accident that involves a vehicle, and he just keeps it on him, like maybe on a keychain or a necklace or something for luck. Whenever he does like a big stunt or like before a big fight for his WWF, he'll always sort of like hold onto it and rub it before goes on and does his thing, and it always gives him that second wind.
I like that. It's definitely one of the wheels.
Just
Um,
has a chunky wheel hanging around his neck.
this is probably a mate to the helmet. I was thinking of one of those like tan and yellow fireproof jackets that like stuntmen wear.
Absolutely. Yeah. Love that.
Um, at the risk of this coming back to be a problem later on, uh, I would like to give Jace a set of brass knuckles. I don't know if Jace knows how to use them.
I think Jace is probably in a fair amount of debt. So, yeah, I think he probably knows how to use them.
Has at least received them
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Right.
Wonderful. So players, you have your items in your corner of the house. Feel free to use these at any time you think it makes sense to try to give you advantage on a roll. You can only use these items once, so don't burn through them too quickly. And they are
Once
at.
per session or once the whole thing?
We're gonna say once overall because you have the
Okay.
latchkey moves and you also have the keys that you can turn.
All right. Makes sense.
They are at narrative risk. Sir Barkington is safe, just for viewers and for my players to know. Animals always have plot immunity in my book. Um, but they are your items in your corner of the house are at narrative risk if they become a problem. So just keep that in mind. So let's officially get started. You all start on a shuttle. You are on a shuttle ride to Converge, which is a very posh, very fancy wellness spa and resort. We were talking about influencers earlier. This is the kind of place where influencers go. This is somewhere where everybody who's anybody wants to go to, but not everybody can get in. And unexpectedly, um, you all received a sort of letter that said that you were gifted a free stay. They want you to stay. They want you to be able to see what exactly it's about. Um, you all gathered because you're here for a high school reunion, and that reunion is forthcoming. But you've had a chance to do a couple of little mystery sleuthing, and so people around Degoya County know that you all are here, and you're kind of solving mysteries, maybe perhaps. And so the note itself was just saying thank you for the work that you've done for Degoya County. This is what we want to gift you. And this is probably like this will be a gentle reset before you get to the high school reunion, which, as we know, high school reunions can be good or bad depending on what your experience was like. I think it ranges for all four of you on what that was going to be like. Um, so this will be a good, nice chance to reset, take a deep breath. You are listening to sort of just the history of Degoya County, and these are things that you have heard over and over and over again, and it's frustratingly so, um, because it seems like that's all that there is to talk about in Degoya County. Well, this is when the cities were founded, and this is how many specks of dust we estimate to be in the desert around here, and it's very boring stuff. It's very dry. I want to go around to almost everybody and ask, why do you expect to feel out of place at Converge, this posh, very fancy, very uh, over the top resort and spa, wellness resort and spa? So we'll start with Alex. Why do we think that Ash is going to feel out of place at Converge?
And Converge is in Degoya, right?
Yes, yeah, it's out kind of in
Okay.
a remote corner of Degoya County, so you're pretty far from Deep Lake, which is where all of you have been staying.
So I think Ash is one very pale, so will stand out at any point. And the other thing about it is that a lot of the like healing stuff was very much what their parents were into, so they're already a bit standoffish about this whole encounter.
Fair enough. Um, this is definitely probably going to bring back some unwanted memories, and uh, hopefully things have changed in the years since you have been in communication with your parents. And hopefully the methods are a little bit different, and it won't be too much like what you heard about growing up. But it is possible that there's going to be some overlap. Uh, Lily, why does Sela expect to feel out of place at Converge?
Um, so I think Sela is used to sort of being surrounded by a lot of people. And they usually like really superficial type friendships. So everybody is a frenemy, but there's still usually people around them. And I think for the reunion in general, they have come back and they're alone, except for Sir Barkington. Um, and it's a very weird feeling to be in a place where they would normally actually feel pretty comfortable, a spa, luxury. But they're not surrounded by the people that they're usually surrounded by. And it's a little like putting them on the back foot.
Um, you're absolutely right. This is a setting where typically Sela would shine and thrive in. This is all of the housewives that Sela may or may not look up to. This is the place that they want to be. This is where they want to go. Um, it's only going to feel more off the closer that Sela gets. I think that she can kind of get that feeling in the bottom of her gut of like something here is just not lining up. Nikki, why does Sally feel that she will be out of place at Converge?
Oh, that is just her default state in most of these higher up, well-to-do locations. Like, I just realized I forgot to explain her style and her careers. So earlier on, so she's basically dressed, in the typical Nancy Drew attire. Like this very pastel blue turtleneck and pleated skirt, has like a small little duffel bag with her where she puts all of her stuff, and her press pass that she will occasionally whip out because she studied journalism. She double majored journalism and human anthropology in college, and she worked a little bit as a reporter and a journalist for a bit, but then went freelance, and now she does a podcast where she basically investigates supernatural locate or haunted locations to either confirm or debunk it. So she just has that naturally standoffish nature, and also, she gives occasionally gives out that journalist energy of like wanting to just get up into your case sometimes, and it just puts people off. And she's just a loner in general. She's that one person who will hang out by the fruit punch and just sit awkwardly while just staring at everyone and make anyone uncomfortable that comes to collect their fruit punch.
I love that description. Um, it is her default state, and this is going to be around a lot of people who want to be at Converge. Um, Sally is going to feel awkward and uncomfortable, and that could very well be heightened um, because as strange as this whole trip has been, at least you know Deep Lake, the city where you went to high school. At least you know the house on Rodenbacher Street where all of you have been staying. And now you're leaving both of those things and you're going to Converge out here in Degoya County. And so it's going to feel even more unnerving. Um, Will, I'm going to come back to you in just a little bit uh, for something else. As you all are driving along and you're listening to this very rote, very boring, all of these facts about Degoya County and Deep Lake and the high school and all these things that you already know, um, eventually the audio stops and a very obviously disguised voice comes on the stereo. And it just says, I do want you all to get some rest, but there is something else that I need you to do for me while you're out here. And they start talking about some sort of a mystery to be solved. There's some kind of strange summoning that they have heard about, something very unnerving that is going to be happening here at Converge that they've heard rumor about. They don't know what it is, they don't know exactly what's going to be happening, but they need you to figure out what the summoning is going to be. Specifically, in public access, there are questions and opportunities. In order to solve a question, you need to have at least half as many clues as the complexity of the question. So I'm going to post these in our chat as I read them out, um, so that y'all can have them in front of you just because I am not an auditory person. I am a visual person, and it's challenging for me to remember things when people just say them to me. Where's our chat? There it is. So the questions and opportunities. The question is, which person at Converge is leading the summoning? So everybody that you meet, who there is going to be the person leading it. The complexity is 6, which means you have to have at least 3 clues in order to attempt to solve this. If you are able to solve this clue, resolve the mystery by stopping that person. The second question, when and where will the harmonies ritual take place? Complexity 8, so you need to have at least 4 clues. We'll go over what the harmony is, and then resolve this mystery by confronting the harmony and putting a stop to their plans. This voice does start to tell you about the harmony and starts to explain that the harmony is this group that they think is going to be doing the summoning. And it's a group of wealthy people, but it's not everybody that you would expect. They think that it could be some of the people staying at Converge, and it could also be some of the staff there. They're not really sure. And whenever that part is said, you see that the bus driver who is driving you to Converge sits up a little bit straighter, and their shoulders kind of get tense, but they don't say anything and they don't do anything. Basically, this voice stresses to you, you have to stop this ritual from happening. We don't know what's going to happen, but we know that weird shit goes down in Zagoya County. So this ritual absolutely cannot happen. And seems to start another sentence when the bus driver reaches over, hits a button, the CD pops out of the audio, he snaps it in half, opens up the window, throws one half out the window, and says, let's just pretend that that didn't happen. Stores the other half in his pocket and continues on with the drive. Before we dive into any other things, Will, I want to come back to you. As this drive is finishing off, you see a figure in a long cowled robe standing on the side of the road, and the sight makes you feel at home, but it doesn't seem like any of your peers notice this figure. Describe to the other latchkeys what you see and how it made you feel.
Describe the figure.
Describe the figure and describe what about it made you feel at home.
Okay. Hmm. I think that this is something that Jace has always seen in here in Dagoya. I think that even like back in high school, which I think makes sense. But I think it is kind of a very sort of almost stereotypical, like the you said the figure is like cowled, like enshrouded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's just a very sort of stereotypical version, like depiction of death. I think it looks like almost like a Nazgul from Lord of the Rings, basically. And I think Jace has always sort of seen it standing there. And I think it's a little bit comforting because he saw it so often when he was younger. And I think seeing it now, just sort of standing there on the side of the road as they drive past, I imagine the head kind of swivels to follow it. And he just kind of like crosses his arms and settles back in the seat. And there's like a small smile playing across his lips. And he says the same thing that he always used to say, which is, not today.
You see this figure of death that for anybody else should be unnerving, should be unsettling. And for you, it just feels like home. And it's this one thing that you can hold on to as you are driving out toward Converge. The only certainty that you have is that today is not the day that you die. But that's it. That is all that you have as you are driving in to Converge. Um, I want to take a pause really quick and talk about mechanics as this game works. So I've talked about the questions and opportunities. So in order to basically what's going to happen at the very end of the last session, you are going to go into a conversation about the clues that I have gifted you, and you are going to talk about how you are solving this mystery. There is no set answer. The clues are random, so you have to figure out how to reason those clues into your answer. It is intended to be a little bit confusing, but a lot of fun. The reason that I'm telling you that now is because I said you have to collect at least 3 clues in order to attempt the first question, in order to attempt solving that question. But right now you are rolling at a -6. The complexity of the question is subtracted from whatever roll you make. So you want to get at least 6 clues in order to have a flat roll. Anything added that gets added to your roll. So you get to 3 clues, you can stop there, but you're still rolling at a -3 to whatever it is that you roll. So just keep that in mind as we are progressing to Converge through Dagoya County, because I want y'all to be able to play the game however it is that you would like to play it, whatever that looks like for each of you. The rest of the ride is in uncomfortable silence, and maybe not uncomfortable silence for everybody, but it is certainly not meant to be a comforting quiet. The music has stopped. There is no more recording. Rory, the bus driver, has not put in any additional audio, so it is dead silence, and all that you can hear is the wind howling outside, the creak of the shuttle as it drives closer to Converge. You notice that this is kind of a long drive. This is going out pretty far into Dagoya County, but whenever you called the shuttle and said, hey, we want to take advantage of this free trip that we've been gifted, it took the shuttle maybe 6 minutes to get to you. This is certainly more than a 6-minute drive. We're probably approaching 45 minutes to an hour that you have been on this shuttle. So not really sure what that was about. Is anybody doing anything? Are y'all having conversations amongst yourself as you are headed into Converge?
Immediately after the moment of pause of Rory breaking the CD, Ash is gonna lean over and plug in the or put in the little tape thing that was the your audio transmitter. Put it in there and then run it to their iPod and hit play on a playlist that one of the playlists that they have, which is definitely going to contain a lot of like early 2000s and 90s alternative rock. And so Rory can't hear them right now.
Rory does not do anything when you reach over to that. Eyes on the road, very responsible driver. Rory takes their job very seriously. Absolutely would not try to stop you from doing something so innocent as putting on music after being forced into silence.
I'm just going to look at everybody and go, well, that was fucking weird.
Maybe he's one of them.
Maybe.
One of
those Harmony folks that they were talking about.
Yes, why else would he just break the CD and litter out of his window?
maybe he only has the one, and you get really sick of listening to it.
Yeah, like maybe it just wasn't that interesting.
You think he listens to a robotic voice talk about a cult on a regular basis?
Yeah, I don't think that that's the tourism board approved materials for going into Convergence.
Unless that's where the cult is.
Well, I'm
Spooky.
pretty sure, Jason, they wouldn't want us to know that.
I mean, who among us have not like listened to a pitch from a cult before?
Sal looks like she wants to like say something against that, then just can't argue.
Scientologists almost got me once. They got me like into the theater, but then I realized what was going on, and also I was late for an audition, so I left.
I mean, when you get an invitation to like come out and like to the desert and live in a yurt for 2 weeks and, just cleanse your mind of all that is bothering you, like you take that invitation, right? And then later, if you find out like maybe they were some really weird like religious organization that you kind of escaped by the skin of your teeth, then you just feel happy that you were able to enjoy those 2 weeks, right?
Right. So Sheila's in a cult, right? We all agree.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I should remind you all that that's not normal. Like, yeah, yeah.
I mean, sometimes you just like have to take a chance and like give people an opportunity to like show their bad side, and then once they do, then you can be like, well, those are not the kind of people I want to be around. So I'm going to just call my driver and see you guys later.
A totally relatable experience.
Personally, I'm more curious about. Wait, above table question. Do we know who that voice is?
It sounded obviously disguised. I would say, Sally, that in your observations, as you have been exploring Degoya County and Deep Lake and trying to figure out what the hell happened to the Odyssey TV station, you caught sight of someone. Someone standing in the shadows, somebody just out of your view, and not quite just that feeling of being watched. You know for certain that you have seen somebody around. Um,
Hmm.
at least you think you do, because you would guess, if you're on the mark, this person is 4 feet across at the shoulders,
Oh.
at least 9 or 10 feet tall. This is a looming figure that you have seen, but it's the shape of a man, obviously wearing some kind of a hat. Probably your best guess is it's that person who has been
Hmm.
unsettling, but the voice was very clearly disguised, so you're not quite sure who it was that was speaking to you.
Is this voice the same one that gave us our earlier mysteries?
The earlier mystery you just stumbled into.
Oh, okay. So this is the first time that we've ever heard of this voice.
Yeah, this is the first time that, above table, this is the first time that you've ever been given directive to go to a mystery.
All right. Okay, then Sal will say, personally, I'm more curious about that voice in the tape. Why us? If this voice know about a potential dangerous cultic activity at a high end location, why not just contact the police? Why us?
That's a great question. Also, I don't know. Maybe the Charlie's Angels aspect of this is probably the least of my concerns. My more pressing concern is the fact that we are definitely just driving into cult activity right now, like willingly. And they're going to do a ritual,
Hmm, really?
like maybe sacrifice.
Seems to me that's the most exciting aspect of this entire trip.
We have different definitions of exciting then.
Hmm.
So,
They probably called us because ACAB.
you know what?
And
Every now and then, Jason, you're right.
Um, I'm gonna use this moment to take advantage of my first chaos point.
oh,
God damn
As
already?
you all are driving along, um, Ash, as you mentioned, that you're driving into some kind of occult activity, there is a awful sounding thunk, and the shuttle starts to swerve a little bit to one side and eventually comes to a stop, and you look up and Rory is gone.
Uh,
He was here just a moment ago, right?
yes. Is the driver's side of the bus door open?
Nope.
Is the bus still moving?
The bus has come to a stop.
Okay.
Okay.
Important
I was gonna say,
clarification.
Jason, it's your time to shine.
These
You know how
guys
you
can't
didn't
jump
get
to the
that?
wheel.
Yeah, you know how you didn't get that part in oh, what was that movie? It's not Rush. The one with the speeding bus.
Oh,
Keanu
the one
Yeah,
with
Reeves.
Keanu
my
Reeves.
They found out my license was expired.
Yeah, yeah. But now's your chance.
I mean, it's still expired, but I'll drive.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
My does he? Do we? So the door's not open, and we don't see Rory anywhere.
Correct. I would say, Jace, you notice with your familiarity with moving vehicles in general, it's not a flat tire. It sounds like something got hit.
I think the more pressing issue for us is. Oh wait, so only Jason realized that we hit something, is it?
I think Jace would be the first person to catch on to that.
Oh,
Jace doesn't think a lot of thoughts that he doesn't say out loud. So I think we hit something.
uh, do you think we hit our bus driver? As impossible as that sounds.
That would be really impressive. That'd be very weird. I would take a look.
Yes.
Are you going to a window? Are you walking outside? What are you doing?
Yeah.
I'll go to like the door. I imagine the bus is like one of those sliding doors.
Mhm.
And I'll just kind of like lean out and like look left,
Yeah,
look right, see if I can see anything.
I'll follow Sal's natural curiosity.
I'm not. I've seen this horror movie. I'm getting in the driver's seat.
It's daytime, so we're gonna call this a day move. And you're not quite meddling yet, but just roll me reason and tell me, what do you think? This is me kind of going off the rails. Anybody watching? I'm not a rules lawyer by any means, so I'm totally gonna mess up the rules if I think it's gonna do something cool. So this is me kind of making up a role here, but roll me reason and tell me, what is Jace afraid of seeing out there?
What order do you want those in?
Tell me tell me what Jace is afraid of first.
Okay. I think Jace is afraid. I think the first thought that pops into Jace's head is, oh God, I hope we didn't hit an animal. And then is, oh God, I hope we didn't hit a person. And then is, oh God, I hope we didn't hit Rory.
In that order.
In that order.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me reason.
That's a 7, just barely.
Okay. You look over, and there is clearly something in the road. Too big to be any kind of an animal. You can cross that off the list. But not quite that strange figure that you've been seeing kind of in the shadows. So somewhere in between, in that size. There's definitely something that was hit, and you're not quite sure what exactly it is or who it might be.
All right. Well, the good news is that we didn't hit an animal, unless it's like a bear or something.
Okay. Well, I feel a little bit better about that. However, the negligent homicide part of it, the vehicular homicide charge that would come with that, yeah, can we check on that?
Yes.
Well, we
should
weren't
check
driving.
But we were
But
in the car.
Yes.
I don't think that's how that works.
I'm going to go
Okay.
check if that person is still alive, and I'm gonna head to the body.
Is anybody
I
going
hope I don't
with
die.
Sally?
Yeah, I will also go. But as I go, I will be saying, because like if that's true, then I've like manslaughtered a lot.
just a quick side eye before she goes back and head towards the body.
Like if all you got to do is be in the car when someone gets hit, I got bad news for me.
I mean, I suppose the question is, did the person you hit, did they survive?
Oh yeah.
Then it's not really manslaughter. You're okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
The two of you exit the bus. Sela and Ash, are you staying behind?
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
Sila's like petting Sir Barkington and like, we'll just let them check out what happened there in case there was a murder that happened.
I'm getting in the driver's seat. I'm getting ready to bolt it if we need to.
Okay. two of you head out. Sela and Ash, possibly the two brain cells, staying behind to make sure that somebody lives through this ordeal. Sally and Jace, the two of you walk over and are getting a little bit closer, and you can see very distinctly what looks like an arm. Like somebody maybe is slumped over on their side and an arm is splayed out in front of them. You can very clearly see that.
Is there blood?
Not any blood that you can see.
Now that we're closer, how can we get a gauge of how big this individual is?
Looks to be an average sized person.
Oh, okay. So not really the giganto that I saw.
Correct. Correct. Not
Alright.
the big man. At the same time, Ash, you sit down in the driver's seat, you realize that the keys are gone, and the door snaps shut.
Of course the keys are gone. Of course the keys are gone. Ah, Sela, the keys are gone.
Well, did you do something with them?
Nope. No, I didn't. Otherwise I'd have the keys.
Okay. I suppose we'll just have to get out and look for them. Wait, Sir Barkington, you're a good hunter. You can find those keys.
And you said the door was ripped off?
The door is not ripped off, the door is shut.
The door's shut.
Arguably worse.
Yeah, right. I'm just gonna lean into opening the door and be like, oh my god, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, I mean, Asila is going to walk out. Like, so Barkington's head is like poking out of her designer handbag, kind of looking around, and she's gonna exit the vehicle.
The door will not open
For either of us?
for either of you.
I don't like this anymore.
Oh, I know this. The emergency exit in the back.
Sela, you head toward the back of the bus, and you, as you are walking back there, there's that window through the back that you can see, and you see headlights coming toward you, and they seem to be coming fast, and they seem to be headed toward where Sally and Jace are.
Oh boy.
I think how far away?
Oh my god, there's a running joke between me and a couple of my friends that because I'm from Texas, I only know how to do distance in yards. But it's unfortunately true, and I really only know distance in yards. I'm really bad at gauging it anywhere else. So I'll say probably like 20 yards or so.
Okay, well, let me convert that.
Isn't like a yard like 3 feet or something?
Yeah, so
a little
60 feet.
bit. Yeah.
I mean, I think Sela's gonna like bang on the glass then of the window and call Sally, Jace, look out.
These
Sally
waves.
Oh god, we're all dead.
Will the windows open?
I'm sorry?
Will the windows open?
I've never been on a resort shuttle bus.
Neither have I.
Yeah, not quite a school bus. I imagine they don't open all the. I imagine not unless it's the.
They have those
windows.
like the
Some of them
windows
might-
that sort of push outward a little bit, like
Yeah.
vents, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give it those because yeah, I'm not familiar.
I'll push one of those open and scream out and be like, "Look behind you! Headlights!"
Jace and Sally, you look up just as it seems so. You two walked over and you were close enough to make out an arm, to be close enough to see the body, and all of a sudden you turn around and that body is much farther away, and you look up just in time to see these headlights pass over where the body is, and continue moving, getting closer to the two of you.
Yeah, Jace is gonna tackle Sally.
Tackle the car?
No, it's you. tackle you.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute.
He thinks about it for a second, though. He thinks about it for a second.
I can take it.
I could take it.
Sally, do you?
I
put
think
up a
he looks
fight?
at the car and he's like, okay, I could jump over that, but then Sally would get hit. So
Yeah.
Sally, do
Yeah.
you put up a fight? Are you caught so by surprise that you just roll with it?
Oh yeah, I am caught by surprise because I'm very focused on the body's distance just teleporting and just like running through my head. How could that have happened? And it distracted me enough that by the time I notice the car coming towards me, it's too late and I need to be tackled.
You two get tackled out of. Thank you, Alex, for that. Sally, you are tackled out of the way as Jace. You throw yourself over at Sally to make sure that neither of you are hit by this suddenly very slow moving vehicle that kind of rolls to a stop, and you hear a door hiss open, and Rory leans his head out and says, "What are the two of you doing out here? You should probably get back on the shuttle. It's going to be dark soon."
What? Wait. You mean the vehicle that almost hit us is the shuttle?
It looks like the shuttle to Converge.
And Rory's inside it.
And Rory is inside.
So there's two shuttles on the road right now.
Right now there are two shuttles, yes.
hey, man, don't act like we're the weird ones here.
Wait, but
How
are
You
you
were
here?
driving that van, and then you disappeared, and then it stopped, and then there was a body in the road that you maybe ran over, except it's gone now, so I don't know.
The complimentary drinks and other substances don't start until you actually get to Converge. So I'm not sure what you've had, but I'm driving this shuttle. They said that
All
there
right,
were
well,
a
that-
couple of people stranded that I needed to make sure got to the spa.
Insight check. Not sure if there's a roll for that.
What are you more afraid that Rory is lying or telling the truth?
Honestly, I'm just like trying to get. Is there like a suspicious vibe to it? Because like earlier on, he snapped the CD that was talking about the cult, right? That is a fairly like it would be a very damning action in a certain way. And now this entire weird thing happening that he's pretending didn't actually happen. So Sally's trying to, I guess, like gauge suspicion and whether this guy's fucking with us or not.
Just roll me reason.
All right. Wow, that was a double ones.
As far as Sally can tell, Rory is telling the truth. In fact, you're starting to believe that maybe there was some kind of, I don't know, weird dream that you've had. You're not quite sure how you got out into the middle of the desert on Degoya County, but weirder things have happened, maybe.
All right, well, at least I got these horrific roll out of the way early on. And I'm just gonna like, you know what? Maybe it's the lack of sleep. And then I just sort of like slap a hand on Jace's shoulder. Probably the food from the restaurant last night, eh?
Did you say complimentary other substances?
Not until we get to the spa.
Right, not until we get to the resort. Okay, well, I guess we better get moving then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna scream out and be like, we're stuck in here.
Rory is going to walk over and kind of look at the two of you and push. Now there's the fold in it, kind of push that fold inward and the door slides open.
It was a push.
Okay.
Right.
It was a
Sal
push
just
the whole
get it.
time. That happens to me all the time. Don't be embarrassed.
Yeah, they're just gonna grab their stuff and like slink off of the shuttle and say thanks. But then as they walk over to the other shuttle, just start muttering, "This is how I die. I'm gonna die here. I'm gonna die in this fucking van."
Sela, do you go and get on the next, or the new original second shuttle, whatever that might be?
Yes. I mean, Sela's like kind of says to Sir Barkington, like, This is just like when it's so hard to get a direct flight to Las Vegas.
Uh, Celia, you notice that Sir Barkington does not seem very keen on Rory whenever you walk by. Seems to kind of
Mm.
duck his head in a little bit and
Hmm.
kind of slink back a little bit. Um, but the four of you are on a secondary, primary, original, perhaps duplicate shuttle headed to Converge, and the rest of the ride passes without incident. It's relatively quiet. There are no more bumps in the road. There's no more disappearing bus driver. And eventually, the four of you come across and come up to Converge the resort. This is a sprawling resort and spa. There are palm trees everywhere. There is a giant lake out front. There's a beautiful fountain in it. This is a multi story building. And on this side of it, you can see that there are a lot of windows. But whenever you walk in through the front doors, you see that on the opposite side, the side that faces out farther into the desert and over the valleys and the canyons, it is all glass walls. And if you go up every single floor, all glass, even where the guest bedrooms are. The goal being that you can always look out and see this
Oh,
beautiful view into the Dagoya County desert.
oh.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, wouldn't that be? I was like, kind of a health hazard, right? A desert and all glass is gonna be reflecting sunlight like a beacon of like, just burning
Rich
everything
people,
around
man. Rich people. That thought did not occur.
it. Fair enough.
Um, you all walk in. You are in a very well polished, very pristine lobby. Um, you see a concierge desk off to your right. There is somebody standing behind that desk, and you see a sign that points to a couple of different places. I'm going to drop these as well in the chat so that you all remember where it is that you are allowed to go to explore.
Mm.
Um, you see a sign that points to treatment, conservatory, dining plaza, the shuttle, guest rooms, and the center of the universe.
Uh, one of these is not like the others.
Um, what would you all like to do?
Uh,
While I fix my audio really quick.
I'm just going to point at the center of the universe and look at everybody else and go, so that's weird, right?
yes, it is an interesting name. It stands out. Should we perhaps drop our items into our rooms first, or do we even have a room?
It was implied in the letter that everybody would have a room. It would be all expenses paid. Everybody has their own individual room.
Yes, yes,
Maybe it's like a
perhaps
riddle.
maybe.
Is there like a concierge desk or anything like that? Like a check in?
Yeah, there is a concierge desk off to one side with somebody standing behind it.
Sela's going to head over toward there.
Um, you approach, and before you even get too close, there's a smiling face. A gentleman, looks to be about middle aged, um, stands behind the desk, waves at you. Can I help you with something?
Uh, Dahmer, Party of Four.
Uh, the gentleman looks down and starts flipping through the reservations to see if there is a Dahmer party of four.
Oh, okay, we're being really we're taking ourselves very seriously, actually. Uh,
I'm sorry, I don't see anybody by that name.
right.
Well,
Nope.
of course, I'm sure you recognize me. I'm Sela Hardwood. And we are part of a party that is here for the reunion. I'm sure we're in your little book there.
As soon as you say Sela Hardwood, immediately stands up. Oh, of course, yes, the gentleman told me to be expecting four of you. Uh, Leans down, comes back with little gift bags for everybody that's got snacks, trail mix, complimentary waters, um, coupon passes for alcohol and other substances, the whole 9 yards. This is very much a warm and fancy welcome.
Mhm.
I'm happy to show you to your rooms personally, or you're welcome to explore. They'll be just down the hall. The elevators are going to be on your left, and all four of you will be staying up on the third floor.
Yeah. I think we can find our way. Thank you.
Of course, hands each of you a room key to get you into your rooms.
Can I ask real quickly? And this is to the concierge. What is the center of the universe? Is it is it a name for something, or are y'all being like serious?
Uh, it's sort of like being on Mars, and you can see that this person gets kind of like this dreamy look on their face, like they're remembering something distant. They kind of look off into the distance. They're very much recalling this experience. Um, it goes on to explain that this is an amphitheater carved into the rock naturally. Sound travels very differently there. It's a very beautiful, peaceful spot. There's a labyrinth paved into the ground. Um, very much intentionally felt to make I'm sorry, very much intentionally designed to make you feel like you are at the center of the universe when you are there.
Oh, I've heard of these all immersive experiences before. I'm surprised they have one out here. But yes, that sounds divine.
It's something that we certainly pride ourselves on, having access to the center of the universe.
Very
Thanks.
suspicious is what Sal's thinking in her head.
Hey, my man, what's your name?
uh Houston.
Houston, when you say other substances, are we talking like some fresh kush? We talking like fresh powder? Because I would love to hit one or both of those and then go check out your space caves.
He reaches into the little gift bag that you've received, flip it over. You see that there's space for you to write whatever your request is, and he hands you a pen and one of those tickets.
This is going to take a while, but I will get this back to you.
Take your time, sir, please. We are here to serve.
Jason's just filling this out like it's a sushi card at a
Yep.
sushi bar.
100%.
I'll take one of these and four of these. Um, what do you all do? Are you hanging out here in the lobby while Jason continues to fill out the card, or are you headed up to your rooms or elsewhere?
I I think while we're like a bit further from the concierge, Sal will look to the address and say, I think we should go to our rooms first and drop our stuff before we start snooping around. Otherwise, it'll be too suspicious.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
And I'm just gonna peek at Jace. Is oh, were you actually serious with that? As I see him furiously scream, I thought you were just fishing for stuff.
You want, I guess, like, I thought I meant drugs, but I could ask if they have like fishing stuff.
Yeah, Sally, don't ask questions you don't want answers to.
Yeah, I'm
I mean,
beginning to understand that.
I don't even know where we would go fishing, to be honest with you. We're in the middle of the desert.
See? Yep. So we're gonna go check into our rooms.
Yeah.
Um, the four of you walk down the hallway, elevators to one side. You have to use your key card to get to the third floor and higher because that's access to the guest rooms. Um, it's very, very quiet. You don't run into anybody in the hallways, but there are, you would guess, at least 200 rooms in this resort based on what you're seeing on that first floor. But you run into absolutely nobody
Not
on
even
your way
staff?
into your rooms. Not even staff.
Oh.
There's
in
just the four
the
of you in the hallways.
in the elevator, like, is it just like the numbers, or like, sometimes elevators will have um like what's on that floor, like next to the number. Is there anything?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll say Everything is on the first floor except for the conservatory, which is on the sixth floor, and treatment is on the second floor.
Treatment is so suspicious to me.
I'm sure that's where we'll like get a mud bath. Probably can get like a pedicure and a manicure.
Hmm.
That
So
sounds
call
like
it
treatment to
spa.
me. I mean, probably like, maybe if you wanted, you could probably get like Botox or something like that too.
I pretty sure that's illegal for a resort, but this
Oh,
place
no,
is weird.
no. As
It
long
just
as they have a licensed esthetician.
I won't argue
Lobotomy.
with you on that. Hmm.
Or it's where they
Perhaps
keep the drugs.
you need to let go of the drugs for a bit. You've already made a list.
Don't even have them yet.
Yeah, and besides, the whole thing with it being legal to do Botox, it's not illegal if you don't get caught, right, Jason?
That felt accusatory. Do you think
Not
that I've
at
given people
all.
Botox?
Not oh my dude, not
Because
at
I've had a
all.
lot of jobs, but I've never given anybody Botox.
Oh, look, we're here at our
I'm
rooms.
sorry, but
That's
it's
the
like
center.
something strange is going down at the Circle K, and it's Jason getting people Botox.
Like a nip tuck parody.
Yep, but out of a Circle K.
Right.
Call that a sip tuck.
Awful.
Well, good night, everybody. It's been fun.
That's it. That's the stream.
Okay,
That's
roll the
it.
credits.
You all arrive to your rooms, and everybody has their own room. They are quite large, king size bed in each of them. A ridiculous number of pillows. There is a small kitchenette
Hmm.
in case you need to make coffee in the mornings. But there's a sign that indicates that everything can be brought to your room directly. Any food or beverage that you might want, any other substances, all of that is available to for delivery. Just press 0 to call the concierge. And as mentioned before, glass on one side. You see that there are blackout curtains kind of tucked to one side that can be pulled to cover that giant window. But every single person has a view overlooking what is the expanse of the Degoya County Desert. Um, you would see a short walk from the resort what looks to be sort of a rounded out, carved out area that you guess might be the center of the universe.
Hmm. Are we all placed together, like close up, or are we like separate?
It's two and two on either side of the hallway.
Okay.
So you're in a little quad.
All right. Yeah, I think the first thing Sal's gonna do, because she's been suspicious this whole time since getting here. No one. Seems like the place is deserted. She's just gonna let her paranoia get to her a little bit, and she's gonna scout the room and feel around to see if there's like peepholes or hidden surveillance cameras around.
Absolutely. Um, I think that this will probably be the first time of us using the meddling move. I can't remember if it's called meddling. I think it's called investigating
Oh.
in this game, but I was just playing Brindlewood Bay, so my brain is still stuck on Brindlewood Bay.
No, you were right.
It's
I
the
think it's
meddling move.
meddling, yeah.
Yes. Shout out to the Gauntlet for using the same terms in their games. It makes my life a lot easier. I think that this will be our first time for the meddling move. So go ahead and roll me reason. This is you actually looking to see what it is that's around your room. So there's no major risk if you don't find anything. This is just to see if you can discover anything.
All right. Hopefully not a double one again. Oh, okay. Even better. I rolled a 10.
Nice. So that is absolutely a hit. Um, you are snooping around your room. Doesn't seem to be any cameras. There's no obvious, it's not a two-way mirror in the bathroom. It's not any cameras in the light fixtures. I imagine that Sally is very extensive and very thorough
Yeah.
whenever she does this search. Um, what you do find tucked underneath one of the pillows is a journal. and written in it over and over and over on every single page is just the phrase "collar me, don't collar me," over and over and
Oh,
over. That is the official clue. It's a journal with "collar me, don't collar me" written over and over again.
a collar. Okay.
Yeah, collar me. And I will drop
Yeah.
that in the chat so that you all can reference it. That is your first clue of the game.
Uh, Sal, being someone who reads extensively, sees collar me, don't collar me, blushes a little bit before putting the journal away.
I didn't know this was that kind of resort.
It's always that kind of resort. It's what we need to know.
But is that every single page is just written this, and there's nothing else that's different about it?
Correct.
Any names, of property of blah blah blah?
Nothing like that on the inside or on the inside covers on either side.
Does it look recent or old?
It looks it's a modern journal. It doesn't look like it's like, bound made out of human flesh paper or anything like that, but it
Okay.
looks aged and worn. This is something that somebody spent a lot of time with. The corners are frayed. It's a leather journal, but you can see that it's starting to come starting to come apart at the seams.
Somebody didn't spend the extra money in their yearbook to get the special human paper.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Sal will just put that away into her duffel bag for a bit, and just like brain is still like thinking, something, something has happened here, and maybe not, cultic, but perhaps outside the norm or typical conventions.
Deviant, dare we say?
Dare we say, could quite possibly be deviant. Um, Welcome, Raiders. First of all, thanks for
Oh.
coming to hang out. You showed up just in time for our human flesh paper, and the creepy journal that implies that this resort is a little bit scandalous, possibly. Um,
Yeah.
at the very least, a little bit strange. But I think that that is an excellent time for us to go ahead and take a break because we're about halfway through the stream. So players, go ahead and stand, stretch your legs. Everybody in the audience, drink um, beverage of choice, but also some water. Include water in there somehow, some way. Have a snack if you need to. Pet your pets for me. Give them lots of hugs and kisses. And we will catch y'all in about 5 to 10 minutes. So everybody sit tight. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. And welcome back, everybody. So we have finished the. I want to explain the mechanics of account access is what I was going to say. Public access is what I meant. Um, the way that the mechanics work. So there are different phases throughout the game. We have just completed the day phase. Now we move into the dusk phase. Night phase will come next. In the dusk phase, this is an opportunity for players for you to let me know what it is that you want to do during the night phase. Whether this be exploring, whether this be having certain conversations, where it is you want to go, what it is that you want to do. Um, know that this is also when you would be able to decide to watch an Odyssey tape if you have one. You do not currently have one. There is an opportunity to discover one during this game, so keep that in mind. Um, but yes, so players, what do y'all plan to do for the night phase? Where does everybody want to go? Who do you want to talk to, if anybody? How do you want to go about exploring this resort at nighttime?
All right. I think for Sal, she was suspicious about the center of the universe, but then hearing the way the others talk about it, she thinks that at least one of them is probably gonna go there. And when she's snooping for clues, she likes to be alone, so I she's gonna go to the treatment because that just why if it's a med bay, why not just call it a medical facility? If it's a spa, call it a spa. Treatment is such a strange word. She's suspicious. She's checking that place out.
Okay, Sally's gonna go to treatment. Where's everybody else headed?
Go in the center of the universe.
Okay,
Sela's gonna go to treatment, but for a very different reason than Sal. Sela is actually going to get some sort of like she is positive that there's some revolutionary um mud bath treatment I don't know, detox something happening in this space, and she is going to get everything that she can get out of it while she's here.
okay. So two people headed to treatment, one person headed to center of the universe.
I think Jace had a very similar idea to Sal about the lack of people, but I think Jace's solution is a lot more straightforward, which is to just start knocking on doors.
Wonderful. One person to guest rooms. This is excellent. Um, okay. So we will start with treatment. Uh mm. Sela, are you looking for somebody to go with you, or are you heading down alone? Because Sal, you already said that you wanted to go by yourself to look for clues. But Sela,
Yes.
are you looking for company?
Oh no, Sela is just I feel like Sela has kind of sussed out that um not everybody is here for the same reasons, and that a luxury spa visit is perhaps she might be the only one actually interested in partaking of those things at the moment.
Fair enough.
So yeah, she's just gonna head down with Sir Barkington in her designer handbag with his little head peeking out.
Wonderful. I was going to ask if Sir Barkington got to go with you. Um, So we'll start with you, Sela. You head down to treatment, and this is on the second floor, so you're just going down one floor, and you see signs that indicate that you can get a massage, you can get a facial, there's waxing, there is pedicures and manicures, and all the things you would expect to find in a spa. But at the end of the hallway is treatment itself, the treatment facility. This is a giant sound bath and sensory deprivation chamber.
She's totally into that. Please.
You are handed a luscious, very soft, very comfortable robe and a hair wrap if you would like one. There is a robe sized for Sir Barkington.
Oh, I
It's a
love
little
it.
bit smaller, but nice and cozy for him as well. There is a safe space for him to be able to stay and hang out while you are going into the sound bath and the deprivation chamber. Um, you go in, and there are a couple other people. We'll say we'll just say one or two other people that are partaking in the sound bath. But you do see that the sensory deprivation chamber, um, it is. I'm trying to think of my words here. I got my meds are wearing off. My ADHD is kicking in, so I got distracted by my own sentences. Please excuse. Um, you see the sensory deprivation chamber. So this is actually built into a natural uh, geodesic dome. So this is a natural structure that, as soon as you walk in, the silence is so deafening, you almost can't even hear yourself speak. It's so intense. It is truly sensory deprivation. Um, there are a couple of different lounge areas for you to be able to sit, close your eyes, to kind of take that quiet moment before actually going into the water portion where you're able to float in the chamber itself. Um, how has some familiar spa service, whether that be something that Sela has experienced or not before, but how has it been transformed into something extra or sort of above the top here?
Um, hmm, I think this sensory deprivation pool, like usually you think of those tanks as kind of individual like tanks, where like one person goes in. This is like a community. It's a very large pool, and it's styled like an infinity pool, and the water seems so clear and clean and crystal, but you can't see the bottom.
It is almost unnerving how much peace and calm is the space is meant to force onto you. No matter how unsettled you feel, it is almost required that you settle into whatever comfortable, fully sensory deprived experience that they are trying to encourage you into. Um, as you are floating, well, actually, how do you proceed? What is it that Sela goes for first?
Um, I hmm, yeah, I think she does go for the pool first.
Okay.
Like that feels like too tempting for her to not go for.
Okay. You get into the pool, into the sound, into the I'm sorry, the deprivation pool, which is such a scary phrase to say. I don't like that I keep saying it, the deprivation pool. Um, but you get into this pool, and as you're floating, immediately that sound is compressed. It's difficult to hear yourself talk. It's almost difficult to hear yourself breathe, to hear your own heartbeat with how intense this quiet is. Um, and you look up at the ceiling and you see that there are stars painted on the ceiling. And thinking about the fact that you cannot see the bottom of this pool, it's almost like you're floating in space and you're kind of just caught in this in between space, caught in limbo. Um, you there are small currents, so you're kind of guided along so that you're not just kind of floating quite so aimlessly. It's a little bit intentional on this very winding circular infinity path that it's taking you on. Once you get to one point in the pool, the pattern just starts back over again. And so that you keep moving, you're not bumping into any of the other guests. Sela is completely at peace. This is calm, this is quiet, this is comfort. What are you thinking about while you're doing this, if anything?
I think at first, they kind of zone out a little bit, like the stars, kind of, you know how like her eyes kind of relax and they kind of merge all into one, and then like separate again and like merge again, like they're actually moving. um, and then I think Sela kind of is thinking about like why she came to this reunion, because while the reunion itself was not a surprise, I'm gonna say she didn't really know about this whole spa visit thing. Like this was like they said, oh, there will be a day trip to whatever the proper name is, but Sela didn't really pay attention to like that or do any research on it or whatever. She was just like, yeah, okay, cool, day trip sounds fun, you know. Um, Sela pays way more attention to the actual luxuries that are offered. Like they were like, oh, there'll be a shuttle that will take you there, and it's out in the desert, and it'll be a relaxing vacation. Like those are things that they paid attention to, and not any of the other kinds of details. Um, so they they came to this reunion, um, and I think they came like it didn't even it wasn't even a question of whether they would come or not. Like that's what you're supposed to do when you were popular. You always show up at the reunion, because of course you want to, well, in her case, like flaunt her celebrity status and that she is, still popular and still part of the elite, so to speak. Um, but something like deep down, um, when she actually thinks hard about it, she is really like, well, what am I doing like here at this reunion? Like, what can I really say I did for myself since high school? And like, am I even that accomplished? So there's kind of like this niggling doubt that wasn't that loud before, um, but is now like this voice, like in the back of her head, like saying, like, "What are you doing, Sela? Why are you here? Are you even worthy of being part of this group?"
What was absolute peace is now it's you're having to fight to hold on to that sense of calm. Um and it's easy to slip back into, but then as you said, that thought comes back up. What am I doing here? Why am I here? What do I have to contribute to this whole experience? Um I'm gonna let you sit with that for a little bit, Sela, as you're kind of just floating and thinking about all of these things. Uh and that anxiety that's having to fight this overall experience that you're having, as it is starting to surge up. And I want to jump over to Sally. So we'll say that, Sal, you are coming down just as you see Sela head into the sensory deprivation room, into that part of the space. Um, you are downstairs. You see the same signs as far as uh, that you can get a massage, you can get a facial, all of the different services that a spa might offer, and then as well the sound bath and the sensory deprivation chamber. What do you do?
Okay. Wolf, to start off with, Sal is absolutely sort of like, not say horrified, but just suspicious of a sensory deprivation tank because that doesn't sound very relaxing to her in any way. And wait, there are people here, right? Like someone behind the counter, those kind of stuff.
Yes, there is somebody behind the counter.
Okay. Uh, all right. I'm gonna walk up to the person at the counter, and but before that, I'm gonna reach in the back and take out my quote unquote legit press pass and clip it to myself. And I'm going to walk up to this person and goes, "Hi. My name is Sal. I'm from Sung's papers. May I talk to your manager? I'm here on a report."
I feel like this is a perfect time for a night roll. Um, what do you think? What are you afraid of will happen if
All
this
right.
goes poorly?
Someone sees through my disguise and I get myself and my entire group kicked out of the resort.
Okay. Um, even worse, somebody will see through your disguise and they will detain you separately from everybody else.
Oh
And
boy.
you have been told about some sort of a strange summoning opportunity, some sort of a cult here. Being detained away from your friends is, you would guess, probably worse than just getting kicked out and being allowed to leave this place.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll me presence.
Oh god. I think I have a 0 on that. Oh, I rolled an 8.
Okay. 7 to 9 is a success with a complication in Powered by the Apocalypse. Um, the person behind the counter named Sutton uh, walks up, smile on their face, and says, I'm sorry, you walk up to them, smile on their face, and says, "Of course, you're trying to speak with my manager. I'm sure that you met them earlier, Houston downstairs. He tends to like to work the front desk as well. Um, let me call him for you," and is going to step back and then come back forward again. Would you mind if I just saw the press badge, please?
Oh, of course, I'll take my badge and hand it over. Not hand it over, just show it.
Um, a clarifying question because I didn't think to ask this beforehand. Are you using the badge to roll with advantage? Are you actively using this to help you in this situation?
Hmm. No, I'll hold off on it for now.
Okay. All right. Um, he is going to take the badge from you, take a step back, so you no longer have this badge on you, but is going to indeed call Houston, the general manager of the property. Um, you wait a couple of minutes. Houston, the middle-aged gentleman from earlier who greeted you at the concierge desk, um, walks up. "Oh, hello. I didn't realize that you were also with the press. How can I help you?"
Oh, of course. Well, technically, I'm not with an official press. I run my own podcast. Not sure if you've heard of it. It's called Sung's Spooky Stories. I go around and look into potential hauntings or creepy situations and to debunk it or prove its existence. And I've heard some rumors about this place, the Converge. Is it?
Yeah, Converge is the name of it.
Okay. Yes, and I've heard some stories about the Converge, and so I'm here in order to try to find out if there's any truth to the tales.
Um, what is a story that Sal has covered previously on the podcast?
Hmm. I'll say that I would like to clarify that I know nothing about America or any of its cities or lore. I do not live in this country, so I'll say that one of the stories that she's covered was there is a suburban place, I guess, somewhere in the south, maybe. I don't know
Mhm.
geography. There is a playground, or rather, there's a town, and there's a rumor about the town that deep within the forest, if you head in that direction at a specific time during a specific day of the week, you will come upon an abandoned playground. And if you stay there for longer than 10 minutes, once it passes, it is said that anyone that remains there will be trapped at this playground and they cannot find their way back. So there's a lot of like there's sort of like ghost stories among the people about like disappearances that happens and sort of like keep kids from wandering into the forest. And so Sal heard about this and she goes to investigate this. And though she encounters some strange phenomenon, she herself ultimately did not encounter this playground. And in her podcast, she marks it as debunked.
Okay. Um, as soon as you start talking about your podcast, Halston immediately jumps in, talks about that episode, starts talking about how you went and you debunked this episode, this mystery about this unknowable playground. Essentially, this is somebody who knows about your podcast and knows what it is that you're doing, uh, and is very excited as he's talking about this episode, and then kind of pauses and cocks his head to one side and says, "But I'm not sure that you would find anything worthy of your podcast here. This is a very calm and straightforward wellness resort and spa. We don't have any spooky hauntings or anything like that.
Oh, really? Because according to some of the chatter that I found in my usual sources, apparently that the Converge has a history of demonic cults back in the day.
You're just coming right out with it. I love
Yes.
it. uh, you say demonic cult, and Halston, there's a sort of like a glint to his eye. You say that before he kind of shakes it off. I don't know anything about that myself, and I know everything there is to know about this property.
I'm gonna sort of like play that as if like I'm just like that is unfortunate. I was hoping that there would really be something. But if it's not too much to ask, is there like an archive in this hotel that I can go through? Like even if there's nothing about this demonic cult, like surely a resort as prestigious as this would have like some history to it. Perhaps I can use that to sort of like cobble together some material for my podcast episode, just so that this entire trip doesn't go to waste.
Of
Hopefully, you understand.
Of course, absolutely. Halston directs you toward a hallway. It's kind of one of those history hallways where it starts at the inception of the idea of Converge, goes through the construction phases, goes to the benefactors, kind of walks through all of this. Um, Go ahead and mark the condition. Take note of the condition marked by Halston. Halston. I don't know how this man says his name.
Condition marked by Halsnand.
Yes.
Ooh,
Um,
not a good sign.
and Sela, go ahead and take the condition sensory deprived. I meant to hand that to you earlier.
Okay.
The way that conditions work in this game is that when they become relevant, you will roll with disadvantage, but there is a way to clear them that we can kind of talk about in a little bit. Um, as you are heading down this hallway, I would like to jump over to Ash. Ash, you are headed to the center of the universe. That's correct?
Correct.
You are walking. It's a bit of a winding path as you're headed down. Uh, you find yourself in this naturally carved out amphitheater. That sound travels a little bit differently here. It's one of those spaces where you can whisper on one side and somebody hears it loud and clear on the other. So it's an interesting sort of space that you're in. And you had heard Houston mention that it's kind of like being on Mars, and you can see why. There's just red dirt and dust everywhere. It feels and looks ancient. It feels and looks otherworldly. Um, there is a series of thin pillars installed by the resort that softly play live audio from sites and landmarks around the world. What do you hear?
So part of me wanted to come to this location and hijack the audio. Um, but probably like the sound that they would focus on would probably be um, one of a river, just listening to a river because it's a sound that they're not used to having grown up here in the desert.
Mhm. It is the gentle bubbling of a river as it is moving past. As somebody who listens to audio like the ocean and rivers to fall asleep, it's quite peaceful. It's very calming, very rhythmic. Um, you look around and you see that the rocks are very interestingly shaped and that they are not just sort of generally round. It almost looks like it was clay molded into different shapes and figures. But if so, it was done by a kid who like kind of only has an understanding of what different creatures look like. So everything looks a little bit off, a little bit weird. And there are hundreds of these rocks in this space. So if somebody did take the time to do this, it took a very, very long time to do so. Um, there's nobody else here at this time of night. It is very quiet, very peaceful. What do you do while you're here?
Um, yeah, I'm gonna hijack the audio.
Okay.
I'm gonna hijack the audio, as peaceful as it sounds, and uh, taking out, figuring out like where the speakers are, and finding a way to like take out the input and put it into my iPod. They're gonna scroll down to their entire listing for OK Computer by Radiohead, turn it on, and then find the best vantage point to listen to it, and like take a look at some of those little clay statues. Maybe pick one up and see like if they can tell whether or not it's like, is it old, does it look like it was is like for design feng shui, or does it look like something historic? Does it look like trying to get a vibe?
You are digging around as you are looking, and this feels markedly not as peaceful to anybody else who might be here, who would have been here, but it feels almost more peaceful to you. This is
Yeah,
the sound is perfect, it's pristine, it's very, very clear. Um, Go
I
ahead and
didn't even
roll
ask if
me.
there were other people. I was assuming I was by myself.
You are indeed by yourself. There's nobody
Okay.
around.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll me meddling as you're looking through these.
Okay. Uh, so for meddling, is it just a straight roll?
It is not. We're gonna roll this with reason.
Got it. Okay.
And if you want to use any of your anything that you have in your corner of the house that would help you give you advantage, you can use that.
Yeah, I'm gonna use let's see. What am I gonna use? I'm gonna use the Walkman
Okay. How is this
to
helping you to give you advantage?
uh instead of my iPod, it's gonna be the Walkman that I plug in to the speakers that's playing OK Computer.
Okay.
I don't know if Radiohead released it on cassette, but it was 97, so who knows?
So it definitely is hiding any sound of you kind of sifting through um these different structures. So go ahead and mark that you've used the Walkman because it's a one-time use thing.
Yep.
And then roll me 3d6 and take the highest two numbers.
Oh, okay. So that was a 6 and a 4 and a +1 for reason, so that's an 11.
Wonderful. You absolutely are digging through, and you're kind of picking up these different rocks and trying to see what might be the most interesting one of these. Like, they're all kind of weird. One of them kind of looks like it might be a sheep. One of them kind of looks like it might be a dinosaur. A couple of them look like they might be humans, but nothing really makes too much sense. Um, and then you find one that seems to be human shaped, and this is solid rock. This is a piece of rock from this, and there are teeth marks in it, as though somebody bit different parts of this rock hard enough to embed their teeth into this and leave those indentations in different spots on this rock. So it's human shaped. You see one that's kind of covering the side, the left side of what the body would be. You see one that's seems to like mark where the neck would be, and then you see one on the right leg. So your official clue is a teeth. Where did it go? It's not nearly as scandalous as the "collar me, don't collar me" clue. Um, oh, son of a.
We'll call
a
this one Bite Me.
could be called bite me. It is a teeth marked redstone. I'm being a little bit flexible on that.
Teeth marked redstone. Ball gag.
Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
right.
Guys, please. This is a family friendly show, god damn it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just slip that in my bag.
Okay.
That's coming with me.
Are you doing anything else as you are spending your time here?
I think before going back to everyone, they're gonna like sit in this amphitheater to take in the sounds and just like lay down and stare up, listening to the music and just taking a minute because, uh, stuff where they could have potentially died earlier. It's been a real creepy day. They're now in what may be the Hotel California. They're not too sure. And so they're just taking a beat to just listen to the music and think about, like, just tell themselves, like, it's okay. Didn't come here to investigate a cult, but it's going to be okay. I'm sure your parents aren't here anymore. It's fine. It's not a thing anymore. It's not even their cult. It can't be. It's fine. You're going to be fine. So just walking themselves through that.
What um what specific memory is coming to mind right now for Ash?
So probably the most specific memory is one where Ash uh, went to went to church and with their parents, and their parents like really wanted them to like really fall into line with whatever was happening at the church that day, and they couldn't do it. They kept thinking, like, if I say that I believe or if I do any of this stuff, then I'm a liar, and so they can't do it. And so instead they ran away, and they instead crawled to the roof of one of the buildings and just laid there and looked up at the sky and brought their little Walkman with them at the same time, and just played some music until it all died down and they could sneak back home. You're muted.
Thank you. As you are sitting with the mixed feelings that come up with this kind of memory, um, I would like to jump over to Will, but I can tell that Frodo is
I
being muted
know.
right now.
No, it's fine. He listened.
Yeah.
He knocked a camera off the shelf while I was in the middle of the stream yesterday or recording.
Don't
So
listen,
good.
Frodo. Keep going.
Let him cook.
No.
Yeah, let him cook.
Absolutely not. This was the camera that he knocked off.
Oh, oh,
Oh
good camera.
no!
ooh.
Oh,
I felt that.
Yep.
Frodo got expensive tastes.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah, I'm here. What's up?
Jason, you are. The rooms are numbered. Um, the numbers don't seem to make any sense. Your room on the third floor is 5617. No number 3 in there at all. Um, 5617, and then you've got 5618, 5619, 5620 in your little quad. So that section makes sense. Um, are you staying on the third floor? Are you going up? There's three total floors of guest floors, or guest rooms. How are you going to narrow this down? What number do you choose to knock on?
I think he's just gonna stay on the third floor and just start. I think he's just gonna pick a direction and start knocking on doors until somebody answers. I think he just wants to prove that like there are other people here.
God, you're like that kid at the resort who's just going around just to mess with everybody else.
Yep.
You are knocking and knocking and knocking on different doors. And eventually one of the doors swings open. Um, you see, I'm so excited right now. You see,
Hate that.
I'm so thrilled. Uh, you see an older guy, much older, long white beard, um, wearing layers of clothes, different colors, very patchwork style. Um, he opens the door, smiles at you. You must be here to learn more about the rings of heaven. Come in, please, and stands to one side to let you in.
Cult alert.
I don't know if I am.
He reaches out and hooks his arm into yours and just starts walking you farther into the room.
No, I don't think I'm gonna go in there. Actually, sir. Um, maybe we could talk out here.
Well, do you have questions? What can I share with you? And you'll notice that there is a very rhythmic music coming from the room.
Yeah, so like how long have you been here?
Well, it's been at least a week, perhaps longer. I spend most of my time down at the center of the universe, and obviously the sun has passed, so I would guess about a week.
Right. Okay. The sun has passed. That's interesting. Okay. You here for any particular reason? You come here a lot?
He is like kind of squints and leans in and keeps leaning in uncomfortably close. Gets right up in your personal space and says,
Yeah, I'm just gonna put like just gently like 5 fingers on his chest and like not gonna push him back, but like I'm gonna keep him about maybe like a foot away.
okay. You put your hand out. He stops. He doesn't get closer than you allow him to. But still squinting at you says, "Are you one of them?"
Probably not, but I'm gonna need you to define them.
One of the aliens.
No, nope, that's not me.
That sounds like something an alien might say to convince me that it's not. Um,
Maybe the aliens are really the ones that would say yes to throw you off.
slowly stands back, still squinting. Looks confused but impressed. Well, we both know. We both know one thing, if you're truly not one of them, is that aliens can't dance. And walks back into his room and turns up the music. I need you to know that it makes me more uncomfortable to say the sentence than anything else. But it's such a delightful sentence that I have to say it. Um, Elio Moonfather Saturn is who you are talking to. And Elio turns around to you and says, "You must dance more. Unlock your hips, unlock your potential. With your Moonfather now."
Sorry.
Yeah, not in front of my son.
So it is this kind of place. Okay.
Mhm. Cover his ears at least.
Can you say that name one more time?
Sure, I will copy and paste it and put it in the chat.
Okay. I just
Uh,
really wanted to hear you say it again.
oh, this is Elio Moonfather Saturn, Rings of Heaven leader.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Jason is gonna floss.
Just book it out of there.
Wait, you start flossing like dancing?
Yeah, because he told me to unlock my hips. So I think Jason's just standing there confused for a second, just like, okay, and then does the Fortnite dance.
Uh,
Anachronism, but we'll take it.
truly. Still confused, still impressed. Elio Moonfather Saturn tries to copy your dance move. It does not go very well, as he is not very skilled at dancing, despite him believing that unlocking your potential requires dancing. Um, I will tell you now, he will not stop you from dancing. How long do you let this go on?
I think like probably longer than he means to, because he's just very focused on it. But then he's like, all right. So were you gonna like answer a question? Why did I have to do that?
Well, I needed to know that you weren't one of them, not one of the
Right, I'm not an
aliens.
alien. We've established that. I did a dance.
Surely you can come inside for some tea.
I really don't want to.
Understandable. Turns
Cool.
away, walks back into the room, does not try
Oh,
to draw
okay.
you in this time, but comes back a few moments later uh, with a cup of tea for you. In that time, I do want to ask because I am very curious of the answer. As you're kind of peeking in, you can see that the room looks much like yours, It's got that giant glass window that overlooks the desert. It's got a king-sized bed. It's got all of the amenities. But what makes it clear that this is Elio Moonfather Saturn's room?
You're asking me?
I am asking you.
There are Spencer's Gifts tapestries covering each of the walls.
No.
Like Celtic knot, like very cheaply mass produced.
Not Spencer's.
Yep, Spencer's.
You see those tapestries from floor to ceiling on everything except for that glass window. Um, Elio Moonfather Saturn comes back and says, "Tea," and holds out a cup for you to take of tea.
I'll take it, but I'm not gonna drink it.
Wow, you were so excited about illicit goods.
I mean, is he telling me there's drugs in it?
No, he's not saying anything about
Wow.
that. Above table, it's just tea, but I feel like Jace won't drink it either way.
No, I mean, I don't know. Show him more to find out. I think Jay's
Uh,
just as much of a tea guy.
That's fair. That's fair.
But anyway,
You were asking me if I come here often. This is my first time here. I haven't been here very long. I know that some people will stay months at a time here.
that's interesting too. You see anything weird here?
Weird. How? It's kind of
Yeah,
getting
that's
that look in
probably-
his eyes again.
Guess that is kind of a moving target, isn't it? What's up with that center of the universe?
You.
Sorry, I'm being attacked.
I'm laughing at what Alex said. I really hope that's what happened.
Mhm.
The center of the universe. Well, that is the best place to dance, if you must know. The music. And it is at that time that you realize that there's kind of been this interesting music that doesn't quite seem to match the rest of the vibes of the resort. But some interesting music playing in the general direction of the center of the universe. And you see Elio Moonfather Saturn kind of stop and look over in that direction. The music isn't usually quite like that, but you can dance to anything if you try hard enough.
Hey, Moonfather. Some of my friends were, I think, going to go check out the center of the universe. And they probably want to talk to you too.
Shall we dance?
Yeah, let's go there and do that.
Elio Moonfather Saturn. I feel like I have to give him his whole title every single time.
Yeah, for sure.
Is thrilled. Looks very excited. Goes and grabs. What would he grab to dance with? He's probably got like a sitar or something like that.
Hell yeah.
Grabs it, starts to walk out, stops, looks at you. How do you know your friends aren't one of those?
Because
Have you
of
seen anything weird?
me? No. But they dance. They've danced, so they're cool.
Okay. I will trust you with this. And we'll start to head off toward the center of the universe. Are you going with him?
Yeah.
Okay. You head toward the center of the universe with Elio Moonfather Saturn. And sorry, my dog is snoring. He's dreaming. And arrive at the center of the universe. It's again a short walk. There is that labyrinth path kind of paved into the ground. That you are more than welcome to walk. And what music is playing for us, Ash, on the speakers here?
We've now reached the portion of OK Computer where we're now listening to Karma Police by Radiohead.
Delightful. you are approaching with music here that doesn't quite seem to match the rest of the experience. And Elio Moonfather Saturn, it's starting to lose meaning, stops and looks at you and says, "Did you bring Tweeter D? Is that one of your friends?"
Rude.
I don't know what that means. This is Ash. Ash, this is Elio, Moonfather, Saturn.
Thought my parents were eccentric. Hi.
Are you one of them?
Uh, gonna have to be a bit more specific.
Elio
He means
Moonfather.
aliens, and you got to dance. We'll just I'll just translate for you because I'll go faster that way.
Got
You
it.
got to
Got
like
it.
do a dance.
So no, not an alien.
You got to do a dance. He's not going to believe you unless you do a dance.
And Ash is gonna look around because Ash didn't even dance at the prom. And so you're just gonna see Ash like do this little weird little shuffle that's just like them kicking their feet and then turn to the side, kick their foot, and like do the punching babies thing in the mosh pit because that's all they know how to do.
uh Elio Moonfather Saturn is confused, still somewhat impressed, leans his head to one side. I suppose that qualifies as dancing. Your friend here, who I
Didn't
don't
think I was
think
gonna get judged tonight, but
I don't know if he has mentioned, but he said that you might want to speak with me.
uh yeah,
Elio's been here for like a week.
interesting. So what's been happening over the course of the week?
Have you gone to the sound bath? Or perhaps the sensory deprivation chamber, or just to get a facial, and starts rambling on about these services that are offered here. And eventually circumvents his way over to talking about his followers and how he brings them to the center of the universe and how the rings of heaven are gathered here in a special way, better than they've been gathered anywhere else ever in the entire world. Or at least Nagoya County. That's about as far as he's traveled.
Jason is standing like slightly behind him and is just like the whole time he's talking, just like looking directly at Ash, just like.
And Ash is just nodding to both of them. And it's gonna go, oh, okay. Neat. Okay.
Uh, are you trying to get information from him out of this?
Yeah.
What are you trying to get?
I'm trying to get uh like a schedule or an itinerary of activities that are planned or have been planned.
You don't get a schedule. This man has no schedule. He's not beholden to any itinerary.
Shocker.
He generally does what he wants when he wants, but that does seem to be the sense of everybody else here as well. He is more than happy to invite you to his non-schedule so that you can experience Converge from his perspective and how he views it. But let's have um Jason, go ahead and roll me for meddling since you initiated the conversation with the Moonfather. I can't say his whole title because it's
So
losing meaning.
I actually had a question about that.
I'll try to have an answer.
I was wondering if now that I've kind of pawned him off on Ash, if I could kind of sneak out and double back to search his room.
Oh, okay. You absolutely can try to do that if you would like to. Let's roll first to try to sneak away. What are you concerned will happen if you try to sneak away to go back to his room?
I guess that he'll notice.
Okay.
Like, I'm pretty confident that I can play it off if he does, but I obviously can't do it if he like sticks to me.
Um, Worse than that, the figure that you saw coming in, death itself, will notice.
Okay.
If you'd still like to go through, feel free to roll.
I'll try it.
Roll me. Honestly, I'll give you a pick of vitality, composure, or presence because, well, actually, no, of vitality or composure. Composure to stay chill enough to do it, vitality to be quiet enough to sneak away.
Those are the same, but I think Jace is a physical guy, so let's do vitality.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Yeah, that's an 11.
Nice. You do what you intended to do and you hold steady. What does this look like?
Excuse me. I think it's very exaggerated, but it is also very quiet in the process. So I think like he does the whole like this guy's crazy thing over his shoulder towards Ash, but then like as Ash is acting uh very interested in what the man is saying, I'm gonna do like a little bit of like the draw it out. And then I'm just gonna sort of like sneak away, like very exaggerated Scooby-Doo style footsteps, not making any noise.
In my head, I'm hearing Kronk's.
Yeah. A little bit, yeah, a little bit. But once I'm out of the like caves, I'm just gonna book it.
Okay. You start running back toward his room. You get to his room, but the door's locked. What do you do?
I mean, I've led a very colorful life.
You have.
I think it might be possible that I've broken into a room or two.
Okay.
This from the man who said that it's not vehicular homicide if I'm not driving the car.
Let's have you roll either vitality or reason. Vitality to physically break through the lock, reason to try to think through what's the best way to do this. What do you
Yeah, I think it
gonna
is a little
happen?
bit.
Oh, go ahead.
I think it is. I'm going to do vitality again. I think it is a little bit of one of those things where he kind of like sidles up to the door, whistling very innocently, and then kind of like holds the lock and just kind of like puts his shoulder into it very quickly.
Okay. What
to
are you
try to
afraid
just-
will happen if you fail?
What am I afraid will happen if I fail? I mean, I guess. I mean, if I fail, I'm worried that I won't get any information or any clues or anything like that. I guess I'm also scared he could discover me if I take too long.
Okay.
Or you could tell me something like, yeah, like fucking death is gonna notice you if you fail. If you feel better about that, Kian.
Look, it's a risk. It's a risk that you're taking now that you know that death is following you. Death
has always been following me.
Death has always been following you, but not today. No, worse than that, somebody in a nearby room will catch you, and you don't know who that might be.
Okay, sounds good.
Go ahead and roll.
That is barely a 7.
Barely a 7. Still
Barely a
counts.
7.
You do what you intended to do, but there is a complication. You sort of bully your way into this room. I imagine you open the door, shut it very quickly behind you. But the door will not latch now. It's very clear that something has happened to this door to break it. But you are in the Moonfather, the Sunfather, the Moonfather's room, covered in these tapestries from Spencer's gift shop, which is absolutely horrible.
The Moonfather, the Sunfather, and the Holy Spirit.
Right, exactly.
Honestly, where we're at. What are you doing? What you doing?
I'm gonna look for anything weird.
Are you looking like through his things? Are you looking just like like kind of scoping out the room the way that Sally did earlier, as far as seeing if there's like anything place strange that belongs to the hotel?
I think in for a penny, in for a pound. I'm going through everything.
Okay, all right. Go ahead and roll me meddling. I think this one counts as. I mean, I feel like I know the answer to this. Are you just like blindly digging through, or is there any method, um, what is the word?
Methodology.
Methodology.
Methodology. Thank you. I was gonna say methodically, methodology behind this, or you just digging through.
I agree that you probably know the answer to that question.
Okay, go ahead and roll me vitality.
That's another 7.
uh, on a 7, you do find a clue, but there is a complication with it. You are digging through the stuff, and you find a sealed bag at the bottom of the Moonfather's personal luggage. Um, Ziploc bag, uh, quart-sized roundabouts, and inside is a cassette tape. Um, Trigger warning for implied murder, implied dismemberment. Um, Looking a little bit closer, you realize that this oh, where did it go? This cassette tape is made out of something gooey. Um, how closely are you inspecting this?
Sorry, you said the cassette tape is made out of something gooey?
Seems to be made out of something gooey. What looked like just a normal cassette tape, you pick it up and it kind of sloughs off out of your hand a little bit.
Okay. I mean, I guess if it's turning into a liquid, I'm going to try to put it back in the bag and maybe put all of those things in my pocket.
It's staying in the bag. It is still in the bag. It's just that
Okay.
whenever you pick it up, what would have been something sturdy, part of it just kind of falls off your hand. As you pick it up
Okay.
and look, this is made out of human intestines. This is human intestines that were wound together to make the shape of a cassette tape. That is your official
Okay.
clue. Cassette tape made out of human intestines.
Wow.
As you put this cassette, you still putting it in your pocket?
I think he screams a little bit and drops it and then stands there staring at it, cursed with the knowledge that he has to pick it up. Like
As
he
you
can't
were
leave it here. It's important.
as you were standing there staring at this intestine-made cassette made out of intestines, you hear a cough. Somebody clear their throat behind you. Do you turn around?
Yeah, but I think I'm gonna look around, I'm gonna be like, what? This isn't my room.
As you turn around, before you've even turned fully around, you start to see this person, at least 4 feet across at the shoulders, standing
Oh.
so tall that they're nearly touching the ceiling and they're having to angle their head down a little bit to look at you, wearing a 10-gallon hat and a nice press suit bolo tie. Very shiny spick and span boots is the big man. And
It's a
he
lot of
looks
it's a lot of gallons, brother. What is that, like 30 gallons?
just a 10-gallon hat, thank you. And he looks down at you and smiles, and his smile stretches just too far, almost going past what you would expect it to naturally stop at. Not because this is a large man, but because there are too many teeth in his mouth, more than there needs to be. Um, and he smiles and he looks down at you and just says, "What you got there, son?"
Oh, and I'll kind of like hold out the bag. Do you want to take a closer look?
Looks mighty incriminating to have a bag full of human intestines just sitting in your hand.
How do you know what it is?
Why do you think I know what it is?
You're answering a lot of my questions. with more questions.
The big man smiles, had the whole time been leaning a little bit closer and closer to you, not in the way that the Moonfather was, but just doing his best, and he doesn't have to try very hard, but doing his best to invade your space and loom over you and make you feel small, which is
Well,
very
that is
easy.
actually what I wanted him to do, because I think with my free hand as I was holding the bag out, I put on the brass knuckles in my pocket. And when he leans towards me, I'm just going to try to sucker punch him and bolt for the door.
You try to sucker punch the big man.
I think so, yeah.
Roll me. What are you afraid of will happen? If
I don't know. He'll fucking eat me, Kian.
uh, worse than that.
Worse than that?
Worse than that. And I'm gonna use one of my chaos points because I still have 4 of them. I'm gonna use my chaos point to not even tell you what's worse than that, but I can tell you that it will be worse than that if something happens.
Great. Great.
Go ahead and
Okay.
roll me
Love that.
vitality.
Okay. Hmm.
Do
You said worse than that?
Well,
Do you
new
have
character.
anything from your core? Well, you're using the brass knuckles?
I am.
So that does. Are you actively using them as a benefit to roll with advantage?
I think so. That's with advantage. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay. Then
I
yes, I think
misspoke
so.
earlier and I said it incorrectly, but yes, with advantage.
Yeah, I think
Go
that
ahead
makes
and
sense.
Roll that 3rd dice.
Okay. Okay. That paid off. So that is a 10. I replace one of the dice with the 3rd one that I rolled, right?
You get to take the highest 2.
Okay, yes. Then yeah, that's a 10.
Okay. You hit the
Actually,
shit.
is there a benefit for it to be a 12 in this system?
Yes.
Okay.
You get
Then
an additional benefit from this action.
Then I think I'm actually going to then I think if it's okay with you, I'm not gonna spend the brass knuckles mechanically.
Okay.
I think instead I'm gonna use my latchkey move, what Nintendo don't. Which is
Okay.
once per session, you can take 12 plus on a single roll related to an action, so long as you do it with cockiness or style.
Okay. I think that in and of itself, punching the big man of the face is with cockiness and style. But what does this look like when Jason does this? Is this
For
Jason
added
or is
style,
this
I will
Jason?
yell Hadoken when I do it.
You yell this, and you hit the shit out of the big man, punch him square in the jaw, and that smile does not falter. He looks at you and continues to smile and stands there. But because it is a 12 plus, you do get an extra benefit or advantage to this action. The big man originally was going to let you go. That's what would have been worse. Because worse than the big man eating you is the big man following you and being marked by the big man. Because you never know where he is, you never know when he is going to strike, and you never know what he will do when he does strike. The big man is not going to let you go because behind you, you hear, "What on earth is going on in here?" And looking past, you see Moonfather as Jace disappears. I assume that this is something to do with Frodo.
Kid just turned off my camera. Yes.
I love him so much. You see Moonfather, and Moonfather looks at you, recognizes you, sees something awful in your hand, and then looks at the big man and says, "Are you one of them? Do you do anything?"
This big ass guy broke into your room and I tried to stop him.
And he's an alien.
And he's an alien.
He's an alien. That's what I thought we were going to go with in the lead up. Um, the big man looks caught off guard, genuinely, genuinely surprised at this accusation. Not that you are blaming him for breaking into the room. He broke into the room. He owned that. He's the big man. He doesn't care. Um, Nobody could stop him anyway. But the accusation that he's an alien really catches him off guard. And you see Moonfather lift up the sitar the way that in El Dorado, I can't remember his name, the blonde one, raises his, I think it's a mandolin, mandolin. Maudlin is a different word than mandolin. It's a
Yeah,
mandolin.
no, mandolin.
Thank you.
Mandolin.
Maudlin is a very different word.
Very different.
Lifts it
Mandalorian.
up.
he
Mandalorian.
raises
He lifts
the
up the
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian, plays it, starts to play it aggressively.
Toulouse? Is it Toulouse? The blonde one? Anyways, sorry, that's off track.
I was gonna say I can't remember. And begins to play music. And you now know something that nobody else knows, and that is that the big man cannot dance. How do you dance when you are 4 feet across and 9 or 10 feet tall in a small, normal sized room? There's just not enough space to move your hips when your hips are that wide. Um, and that buys you enough time to book it out of there if you so choose. Do you run?
Yeah, 100%.
You book it out of there. You don't even have to roll for it because the big man is absolutely distracted and perhaps has set his sights on somebody else now in all of this. There's somebody else at risk of being eaten now that this has happened. Mark the condition for me noticed by the big man. Um, just in that he saw you essentially catching him in the act of something, which is not ideal, but he's not currently pursuing you yet. He's not chasing you or doing anything with that information yet. And as Jason, you are sprinting out of this cassette tape made out of intestines in hand, I think that that is an excellent place for us to pause tonight's session and bring it to a close. Uh, as we will pick up next session in the day phase and see where we go from there. Big thank you to my players for sticking with me for this very first session as we get things started, get things rolling. There's a lot that I have planned for the next 2 sessions, so we needed to cover a lot of ground here, so I appreciate y'all's help. I would let my players please go around in a circle again, same circle as before, to introduce yourselves once again. Let us know who you are, where we can find you, any of the projects that you want to plug. We will start with Nikki, we'll go to Alex, then Lily, and then Will. So, Nikki, I will hand it over to you.
All right. Hello there. I have been Nick, and I have been playing Sal Sung, and you can find me on basically every single social media platform as NickSnat1 with a number one at the back. And as for things to plug, not much at the moment, but I am currently in a bi-weekly game with DA Dungeon where we're playing through the Dragons of Icespire Peak, but with a caveat that at the end of each session, the DM will roll a dice, and whoever's name is attached to that number becomes the DM for the next session. So it's a different DM for every single game that we play, and it's been a lot of fun so far. So catch up on the chaos every Friday, and Irish time. I, I can't convert. So yeah, that's it from me.
That's a really cool idea for the game. I love that. We'll pass it over to Alex.
Hey, my name's Alex. I am that one dead pixel most places on the internet. Um, right now, you can find me here playing public access on Entropy Emporium for the next couple of Mondays. Coming up, I have a one shot with Kian. We're going to do a variation of Morkborg and it's going to be Bones of Batala. Batala? Okay, I was fixated. I'm going to mess that up. But yeah, so Bones of Batala, and it's going to be on October 8th. And then we've also got a one shot for this year's uh, charity streams for, oh goodness, I can't remember what it is, but I will get better at having lists of things soon. But yeah, that'll be in November. So until then, yeah, just find me around, hanging around the Entropy Emporium uh, server. I am the resident gunkle. So
Thank you kindly, and we'll pass it over to Lily.
Hi, I am Lily. I can be found as Elise on Life on Twitter. But I spend most of my time on Instagram as Lily PHL. That's all my creative stuff. I crochet and I make jewelry. Um, you can see me every other Thursday, which is this Thursday, is one of those other Thursdays. Singularity Roleplay. We're doing campaign of Monster of the Week. You can hear me on three different podcasts, two actual plays. One is called Misfits of Space, where we're doing Scum and Villainy. The other one is called Greetings from Stability, which is a horror anthology podcast that all takes place in the same small town, but at different times, and we play different characters. And then the third podcast is my own podcast called Blurred on the Street. We're currently on kind of an extended hiatus, but we have lots of back episodes. It's me and two other femmes talking about being Black in geeky spaces.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And finally, send it over to Will.
Hello. Hi, my name is Will. Tonight I was Jason McEwen, aka Jace Max, with two X's. You can find me all over the internet at a Will M Scream, pretty much on all social media platforms, although I really only post things on Twitter and Instagram. But yeah, kind of a busy week actually. Tomorrow night, mostly you can find me over at Live from the Apocalypse, the not-for-profit TTRPG charity studio that I co-founded about 3 years ago. We play games to raise money for nonprofits uh, and aid organizations and things like that. We're currently raising money for medical aid for Palestinians. We do too many games for me to list all of them, so I don't know. Follow them. But I will be over there tomorrow night running a session of Nephilim Tenebris, which is a near future anti-capitalist sci-fi game. It's kind of got Firefly energy, but without all of the Whedon problems. Yeah, that'll be great. That'll be over at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, over at Live from the Apocalypse, twitch.tv/Live from the Apocalypse. Um, the Thursday, you can catch me back here on Entropy Emporium running God Complex, the Girl by Moonlight game that I run about making the corpses of dead gods into mechs to fight space kaiju at the end of time. And then Sunday, over on Live from the Apocalypse again, you can catch us recording some new episodes of our Masks Actual Play podcast, Academy H. There are a bunch of episodes of that out currently. If you want to listen to it, we are also on kind of an extended hiatus, mostly just because of life stuff. But there are some episodes that we recorded with Kian recently. So if you want to get caught up before those come out, they will be very good. I think that's pretty much everything I have to talk about. Oh, we're currently releasing season 2 of Cryptid Community College, our Monster of the Week podcast, which is set in West Virginia. And if you enjoyed me doing whatever Jace was tonight, you can catch me on that doing a bad Scottish accent. It's fun. There's one episode out. I think there should be another one out this coming Sunday while we're recording Academy Age. So that's it for me.
Wonderful. Thank you kindly. And of course, as said at the top, my name is Kian. My pronouns are they, he. You can find me on the interwebs at uptight_chiffon, uptight-chiffon, depending on where you're hanging out. Next up is going to be for me on Saturday. I'm going to be here running Blooming in the Raw, our Invisible Sun campaign. We had to take last episode off, so I'm really excited about that. I will be back here next Monday for public access, the next episode of this one. On next Wednesday, Beacons Arc 3, Beacons of Farlight, The Fall of Arethea, is absolutely so much fun over on High Shelf Collective. We're all very traumatized. We're very stressed about it. We just got started with the final arc of this series. I've got a couple other projects that I can't yet talk about that are coming up that I am super, super excited about. But as Alex mentioned, I'll be running Bones of Bathala. Bones of Bathala. It kind of depends on what you're reading and what you're looking at, which is a Filipino-inspired Morkborg hack. So it is inspired by Filipino mysticism and mythology. Um, I'm very, very excited about it. I have some pretty awful things in plan for my players for that one. But again, other projects that I can't yet announce. That's not true. They call us villains every other Tuesday. I am here playing a horror game of masks, which is very, very fun. We have a grand old time doing it. My character is totally fine. He's taking another little nippy nap right now in the sanctuary because I had to miss last session. So, there's a pattern forming, whatever. It's my boyfriend's sanctuary and it's nice and fun and calm there. So at least we don't have to be attacked by shitty oatmeal and the darkness with too many teeth. But other projects that I can't yet talk about, those are going to be on social media first. So follow me there. That is where you will hear about them. I always forget to raid. Um, so I'm gonna look frantically for a raid. I'm not gonna hold everybody hostage, but players get somebody in mind that you want me to raid to. Feel free to send a message and we can toss a raid over there. But thank you so kindly. Hang out for the raid. Let them know who sent you. Definitely say hi to them. Engage in their chat so that we can help support them in their views. And we will catch y'all next Monday for episode 2 of Converge or Convergence Public Access. So thanks. Say goodnight, cast. Nobody
Good
said
night,
actually
cast.
good night.
Oh,
Good night,
good night,
cast.
cast.
Bye.
I was muted. I said it.
Good night, everyone.